Hello, everyone. Thanks for sitting through that. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and stop a couple of things. I thought it'd be a good idea to do one of those little splashy screen things. See how it went for 10 minutes or so. And I'm still getting Slack sounds come from somewhere. That's my life now. No idea where they're coming from. Take it back. I do know where they're coming from. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't even checked the live stream. I hope you can hear me. All right, so that's interesting. I'm getting a nice little alert from Flo telling me that 60 gallons of water has been used. Not sure what that's about, but I hope my wife can figure that out before before the water gets shut off, because I'm in recording. I'm not going to stop. So all right, so let's get started with this though. Welcome to the live. Wait a second. There we go. All right. I got the live stream kicking now, so those guys should be able to hear you. Welcome to the second time I've done this, so plenty of things still kind of going off the rails. But I'm going to give it a go, give it my best. Get back to my show notes. I think I've got everything lined up. At least I hope I do. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, February 5th. Yeah, that's right. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson, and HomeTech Podcast is a podcast about all aspects of home technology and home automation. This week, we're going to dive into some home tech headlines that have popped up over the last week, talk about some new TVs that have been hitting the market from Samsung, and another Absurdi-TV that came out this week. But first, I want to ask patrons, if you're a patron of the show, if you sponsor the show, you should have gotten an email, a couple emails from me by now, but I want you to head on over to HomeTech.fm/support and click on that Patreon image. It'll bring you over to the patron page where I think you can log in and you can vote on Home Tech Talk time. Home Tech Talk time. That's tough to say. I'm starting up a conversation. So here's what I want Home Tech Talks to be. Home Tech Talks, yeah, to be. It's a discussion, a round table event, so to speak. I want them to be short, concise, and frequent. Though I want them to be often enough where people can join in and listen in. They're going to be modeled around office hours type conversations. So general Q&A kind of at the beginning. If you have a question about home technology, home automation, you're doing something. There are a lot of good questions today that came up in the hub about Wi-Fi and some broadcast storms that somebody was having issues with. And we're trying to figure that one out, trying to do some troubleshooting there. But it may be better if we have more hive mind people, everybody get together in the industry, get together, have a conversation about broadcast storms and how you can best troubleshoot those and figure them out. So check that out, hometech.fm/support. That'll bring you over to patreon.com/hometech. That's probably the easiest way to get there. I'm looking for a time, an hour at that time, and it looks like everybody's lining up 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. That's kind of where the votes are headed. I don't want to steal the vote, preview the vote there, or change anybody's mind. But if that doesn't work the best for you, I've got mornings, which nobody likes, by the way, afternoons, evenings, and then there are a couple of night owls who really want to see something done to join a conversation after 9 p.m. Eastern. So I can see how if you're out west, that may work a little bit better for you. But please check that out. If you're and this is going to be limited to patrons only at first. Now the recordings, I will be recording them and posting them up on YouTube later. So you will have an option to listen that way. But keep in mind, like if you want to join the conversation, the best way to do that is going to be through the patron page. So check that out. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with our home tech headlines. All right, I'm going to switch the screen around a little bit. Not that one. All right. Roku has purchased Nielsen's advanced video advertising unit, which will change the way ads are served on its platform in the future. The streaming hardware maker now owns Nielsen's automatic video content recognition technology and dynamic ad insertion system as part of the deal, which is expected to be finalized in the second quarter of 2021. Gross. Sorry, I didn't even finish the story. This technology allows advertisers to detect ads as they come on and replace national and local advertisements with ones that target viewers watching on Roku platforms in real time. Wow, that is something. I don't know what to think about that, other than I'm glad I primarily watch on an Apple TV, because man, that just feels all sorts of gross. And I know Roku subsidizes a lot of their development, a lot of their platform with these types of advertising dollars, and that's why the device, you can pick up the device in a where did I pick it up? I picked it up at Office Depot for $30, just the little small Roku streaming stick thing. $30. It was an impulse buy. I bought it. I plugged it in. I've used it maybe once or twice. More as a troubleshooting tool than anything, but it does have all the apps and everything that are on my Apple TV. But unfortunately, it spies on you. So keep that in mind as you're watching Roku. It's watching you. Whoops, went a little bit too far there. Half of U.S. customers own at least one smart home device, up 35% in January 2020, according to the latest Home Automation Ownership and Usage Report from the NPD Group. The NPD's retail tracking service data reveals the largest sales gains in 2020 were seen again in security systems, up 44%, trailing by smart garage door openers, 21%, and then smart lighting, up 19%. Security is still a key motivator in smart home purchases, such as security cameras. And so they're grouping security cameras in with security systems sales, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting. And again, security cameras have been the leading volume driver for the past 4 years. This article is interesting. We'll put a link to it in the show notes here over at HomeTech.fm/341. It also mentioned something about pandemic projects, which could have helped play a role, given that smart lighting was up 43% in 2020, compared to only 17% in 2019. And I can't really think of another device or another group of devices that have come out over the last year that would have skewed the numbers that much. So it must have been everybody sitting at home kind of wondering what they wanted to automate, and throwing in a couple cameras, automating the lights. That seems to be, it's kind of nice. It's getting to be low-hanging fruit for a lot of people. MPD's Future of Tech report shows smart home devices sales are forecasted to continue their growth in 2021, with sales up 9% over 2020 already. So it's encouraging. And it kind of piggybacks onto another story I want to kind of bring up about Legrand teaming up with home builder Taylor Morrison here in the States. Taylor Morrison's like the 5th largest homemaker here in the States, and they've inked an agreement with Legrand AV, so customers now have the option of customizing their residence with products from Legrand. So products like Luxel, OnQ, and Pass and Seymour. Now the Luxel is familiar with networking, but Pass and Seymour probably already existed in the house, so that's like your outlets. OnQ would be, I guess, they did some networking in the past, but I guess they would also do like structured wiring and that kind of thing. So interesting deal that we've seen these from time to time pop up. And what it means is if you are buying a Taylor Morrison home, a branded home, you'll have Luxul or not Luxul technology, but Legrand technology built into that house from the beginning, and it's just kind of a package price, I suppose, that they can offer the home builder for those kind of things. So big deals, bigger than what we can make as lowly integrators. I remember I worked for a builder in, I don't know, this would have been back in like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, that had inked a deal with, I want to say it was on Q at the time. I don't think they were owned by Legrand. But since we were the only dealer in the area of this particular brand of structured wiring panel, they came to us, and that's how we got all of their work. It's kind of nice. I don't think that kind of thing happens anymore, but back then, when builders barely knew about structured wiring or what a network was, or what Wi-Fi was, they would bring you in and let you take over the job if you could offer a certain product. All right, this might be a little out of order here, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into one more story about. Kind of move this out of the way here. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but CSeed has announced a foldable 4K 165-inch micro LED TV. This is a story courtesy over at CE Pro. This thing is insane, and they've got a video of this thing. You have to go see this video. This TV will fold out of the floor. It like raises up out of the floor and unfolds into a 165-inch TV in the middle of this empty living room. I'm not sure. These videos are really hard to figure out if they're like all CG, and this is just kind of like a concept video of what they want it to look like. Certainly the images are, but we've talked about these guys in the past. They used to have an outdoor version that they made that I think cost $1.5 million, which is pretty wild if you think about it. That's a massive TV. So and to have it motorized and kind of like come out of the ground is definitely pretty wild. So I see what happened here. I'm going to delete some slides and get back to playing this in a window. See if we can get back to this. I got a picture of this thing here to hopefully bring back into the conversation. Let's see. There we go. All right, so bring that over there. So that's the picture of this TV. I'll try and boost that up. Sorry about that, Robert. Let me know if that gets any any better for you. Not much I can do. Yeah, it is low. I will try and boost it up when I can. I don't know what I can do without overriding or killing the. You know what I can do? I can do one thing here, and that is. Well, no, I can't. I'll try and figure that out next week. Oops. All right, there we go. Thanks for the feedback. But if you are in the market for $1 million+ dollar TV that's 165 inches in your starkly empty living room, mine doesn't look anything like this. It has toys and stuff strewn across the floor and furniture everywhere. So I really don't know if you live like this and you need a TV to exist inside your empty room. CSeed has an option for you. Go check that out. Kind of the big discussion tonight I kind of want to talk about is Samsung. They had an unbox and discover event, and I seem to have duplicated many slides. I'm going to go ahead and delete these out. All right, there we go. I see what I did. There we are. Sorry about that. So Samsung had this unbox and discover event this week where they kind of went over the TVs they announced during their CES presentation. It was maybe a little bit before CES. They kind of jumped the gun on everybody, and I don't know. This seemed like a pretty cool like review. They released a video, and I'll put the video in the show notes where you can go back and watch it. It's about a 10-minute video if you want to see everything. Again, this is a podcast, and I'm kind of doing some streaming, but I'm not replaying the video. I'm just kind of like putting pictures up. So it may be worth going to watch because I found a video that they had kind of cut this presentation up into like the high points where they went over these micro LED TVs, the QLED, and they went over some sound bars. I'm not really going to get into those because it's kind of boring. I mean, it's just a sound bar. It's hard to get excited about that. It's 2021, so. But let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about what the video technologies that they're releasing. And I think everybody was excited about this micro LED TV that they've been talking about. They confirmed smaller form factors. Now this is a small child of the 290-inch wall TV they announced back in 2018. I think they've had some smaller sizes that came out kind of in the past few years, but these are going to be smaller than that. So we're talking 110 and 99-inch that they're releasing now. And later this year, you'll get an 88-inch option and a 76-inch, which will be on the roadmap. And it's a very interesting technology. These are those panels that you see kind of snap together to form a larger panel. Used a lot in the digital signage world, but you've probably seen one of those signs as you're walking down the street. The pixels on those are rather large. These micro LED TVs have really small pixels, and as you get closer, you'd probably notice them. But further away, it's easier to kind of for everything to kind of blend in, especially on a TV as big as 110 inches or 200 inches. You want those to kind of blend in. It's got 4K resolution, I believe, on these, so it's a pretty nice TV set, and kind of the same thing. It's the same thing that the Seaseed company is doing for their folding TV. They're just breaking those panels up into sections, and then as the TV unfolds, the sections all come together and make their own larger TV. Speaking of which, this TV has a quad view built into it, so you can actually on one of these get 4 image sources at once on one of the TV screens. So that's kind of nice. Right now, a lot of TVs don't have this built into it. I can't really think of one that does, but I know that there's a lot of third-party devices. We sell a couple at work that have them, and they'll have a way that you can overlay and do like what we call picture-in-picture. Back in the before, way back in the day, we called it picture-in-picture. But now it's kind of like tiling is kind of the in vogue thing that you call those devices. And typically you can do more than just a single picture over a picture with those devices. You can kind of mix, match, and overlay them in whatever form or fashion that you want. The interesting part about these, though, the 110, the 99, and the 88, and of course the 76 down the road, is that they are not. They don't require professional install and assembly. Really, the wall TV required a certified technician to go out basically to put them together and assemble it onto the wall. These are getting down to be like consumer grade devices. So I think that's very interesting. Of course, there's no price tag associated with this. I've talked to a couple of people about how much the wall cost, and I don't remember what they say. So if anybody is in the chat and you guys remember how much the wall cost, post it in there and we'll mention it. But I know a couple of jobs that have gotten them. It's one of those pieces that everybody wants. They have absolutely have to have. It's one of those bragging right pieces. But it's in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that big of a deal to have one of those TVs. So next thing up, they have these Neo QLED TVs. Which promise better backlighting and brightness performance. Thanks again to this mini LED technology Samsung is pushing out. The largest of these new cameras will be an 8K 65, 75, and 85-inch sizes, and they'll be priced from $5,000 to $9,000. So pretty normal pricing there. The 4K TVs come in two ranges, include 55-inch and 55-inch to 85-inch, and the prices start at $1,600 and go to $5,000. So those would be the new. I saw images of those. They actually looked pretty nice. They have some smaller bezels on them. They've done some design work on them to make them look good. Not bad looking TVs at all. Then we got what I call boring TVs. The frame TV lineup. They added a new 75-inch model, I think. So they made them thinner. They're 25 millimeters thick, roughly. There's a 55, a 65, and a 75-inch models, all ranging from $1,000 to $3,000. And they're really laying hard into the artwork aspect of these. They've added up to 6 gigabytes of storage for that, and they've teamed up with Etsy to allow people to buy and purchase artwork off Etsy, and display it on their TV. What it is a neat technology. Again, I'm calling it a boring TV because it's not a great TV. The picture on them is definitely not as good as what you're going to get if we talk about one of these Neo QLEDs. Not quite the same, but it's really not designed to be a performance-driven TV. It's more for aesthetics, and I think if you're in one of those applications where you need to have just like it blend in with artwork, this is the way to go. Absolutely the way to go, because it has that frame that can go around and look good. And I think they even said that they were teaming up with some third-party vendors to offer more options with frames this year. They say they had a My Shelf accessory that you could purchase separately, and it would frame out a shelving unit, almost like not so much a built-in, but like almost like a little shelving unit around it. I don't know. Talked a lot about a boring TV, but there you go. If you're in the market for a frame TV, Samsung's the one to get, I guess. And of course, we got terrace TVs, which is the outdoor weather resistant, waterproof TVs that Samsung's offering. 55, 65. And a new 55, 65, and a new 75-inch is due in the summer. I really don't have much to say about these TVs other than I wish I had the terrace that they put them on in all their marketing shots, because it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't have a place for a TV like this. As much as I'd want a TV like this, I don't have anywhere to install something like this. I wish I did, because I wish I had that outdoor fireplace and seating area. I'd be out there tonight. It's gorgeous outside. So. And then one more product I thought was pretty interesting that we don't hear too often about, and I think we need to hear about them more, is a Premier 4K short throw, ultra short throw projector. So these projectors are designed to sit basically right up underneath where they're going to project, and you can get within 12 inches. You can project an image as large as 130 inches with these. So it is a really slick product. There's a ton of these. There's a number of these on the market. I won't say there's a ton, but there's a number of them, and I'm glad to see that Samsung is getting into this market, because if you're shopping for this kind of thing, there were only a handful of vendors that you could get them from. Sony makes one that's like the size of a bookshelf, a bookcase. Like it's massive. It sits on the floor. It's very heavy. It looks great, but it's priced with Sony pricing. No pricing on this one, but the 9T, so they've got an LSP 7T, which does 120 inches, and the LSP 9T, it's really hard to say, so is the first one that supports HDR10+. So that's kind of a Dolby Vision competitor that Samsung is pushing. Again, no pricing on these, but I find it interesting, and find it interesting that somebody else in the video marketplace started making those things. So it's pretty cool. Oh, and one more TV I've got to mention. Got to mention this. It's the TikTok TV. Why is nobody talking about the TikTok TV? I've seen a couple of news articles on this, but no one mentioned the Sero TV. And there's probably a reason why. It's a 43-inch, $1,700 television with built-in 4.1 surround sound. The stick with this one, though, is that it can go from horizontal and you can swivel it. I guess you press. I didn't see anything about motorized, but like I guess you can move it yourself and kind of swivel the TV to be in portrait mode. So you can watch TikTok, and it's got a ton of streaming, like casting ability built into it. It's a neat looking TV. It's kind of small for what I thought it would be. You can buy wheels for it, so you can wheel it around your house if you want to wheel your 43-inch TV around the house and watch your TikTok videos in a larger format. It's got built-in Bixby, Alexa, and Google. I don't know. What do you guys think about this thing? It seems kind of funny. I'm calling it the TikTok TV, but I don't think this is going to be. I think this is probably the biggest second screen I've ever seen. And Sterling is saying in the chat here that the video he saw said it was motorized. And I thought I saw that too. At least in the video, I did see that. But I'm wondering if that video was just kind of mocked up. Let's see, orientation. It doesn't say. Oh, okay, it does. It automatically rotates the screen to match your phone. So if your phone is in the horizontal position, you can actually swivel the TV by turning your phone. So no more of those portrait videos will show up on your TV and give you black bars. They've solved the issue. It notes here in the article, you can also do it manually by voice, app, or with the good old-fashioned remote control. So there we go. There's a burgeoning conversation starting in the comments about TikTok, and I don't know. TikTok's fun. There's very creative things happening on TikTok. I can tell you that. It is a fun platform, but not for everybody. So all the links and topics discussed tonight can be found in the show notes at HomeTech.fm/341. While you're there, don't forget to check out how you can join us live, as everyone here is giving a lively conversation here. You can check out how to do that at HomeTech.fm/live. Usually we start between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to bump that back a little bit so we can get more of the international crowd, European crowd, in here to help out with the show. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can pull this up as our pick of the week here, because I've got a big pick of the week that is custom integrator related, and man, it is actually really, really slick. This is the Crestron DM-NAX. This thing is absolutely amazing. So here's the picture of it on the live stream there. 8 zones. It's got Spotify Connect, AirPlay built in, Pandora, Sirius XM, iHeart streaming, Amazon Alexa's built in, so you can just say play I don't know, Cardi B in the living room, and there you go. It's blasting away with 150 watts per channel power, 500 watts in bridge mode. Holy moly, this is crazy. It looks like it has AES 67 IP audio. Is that Dante? I think that is. So like Dante digital audio built in. So you can actually put this on a Dante network or an AES network and send and receive the sources from this thing that you've got plugged into it around the house on the network. There's no more of like wiring a million, RCA cables in to loop them in and out of these amplifiers. This is every single thing I've ever dreamed of in an AV amplifier. Yeah, check it out. It's got 2 coax and 2 digital inputs on it, and all these analog inputs and some Keystone ones or Phoenix ones for custom integration. $6,000. How can that not be the pick of the week? Amazing. That's the Crestron DMNAX, and it's got a longer model number. I can't remember it. It looks like they have, if you go down to the bottom here, they've got here it is, NAX 8ZSA. It says coming soon. They also have a 16-channel version on the way as well. This thing's amazing. This is great. You may say $6,000, that's expensive, but if you think about it, kind of to do the same thing with Sonos, you'd pull up a Sonos amp times 8. I guess you need 8 of them. Times, what is that, 650? So that's about, what, $5,200, something like that, $5,200 for 8 Sonos amps. And you still got to rack all those up. So it's more than 2 RU to start off with. So I think that's a heck of a deal for something you can integrate in with the rest of the Crestron system. It's got a full DSP built into it. I forgot to mention that. Man, what a cool piece. I wish more integration companies would follow along with that, because that's really cool. Chris Gamble in our chat saying $6,000. It's a face bomb. No, that's a great price. That's a great. It's expensive for an 8-zone amplifier, but with everything built into it, I think it's a good price. Eric Brown bringing up, is this impacted by the chip manufacturer that burned to the ground? I don't know. I would say I've heard some things about that. There's a certain company that you can buy touchscreens from right now, and there's another touchscreen manufacturer that you can't buy any touchscreens from right now. And the reason for that is because the first one decided they were smart, and they would just buy all the chips. So from what I'm seeing, and this is kind of outside of our industry news and industry reports, is that that there is a serious issue with chip manufacturing right now, and we're going to start feeling that pain. We're going to start feeling that pain this year, as we see products not being available in general. And I was kind of warned about this kind of towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, with some of my manufacturer partners. And I mean, there's things that just the entire supply chain is kind of weakened by COVID. And then there's I can't remember, I think there's that foundry that did catch on fire in Japan. Definitely talked about that on the show before. But that happening, that was the only foundry that was making all these DSPs for an entire, like Harman, and a ton of manufacturers were buying them from this one place. When they go down, it's not like they're the only place they can get them, but what it does is it puts a strain on the rest of the system, and there weren't too many other places to buy those from, evidently. So I'm not sure if this is going to be like impacted by that particular DSP manufacturer. And Crestron's smart enough; they probably bought what they need to get this out into people's hands. So I wouldn't worry too much about that with Crestron. Other brands, keep an eye on them, because we're going to be short product this year. I can guarantee that's going to happen. We already are. We're already seeing some touchscreens not being on the market. So if you have any feedback, questions, comment, picks of the weeks, or great ideas, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out that online form. Do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, and especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you a private invite to our Slack chat, The Hub, where you and everybody else can gather and talk about Wi-Fi problems. You can also, new feature of that, when we start these HomeTech Talks up, it's a patrons only thing. So if you want to participate in those, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support and learn and check out our Patreon page there. If you want to help out but can't support the show financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. And with that, I think we're going to call it a show this week. Thanks everybody for joining us. Looks like we had a handful of people join us in the live chat. Appreciate the conversation over there and keeping things going. I'm going to keep trying to bump this back a little bit more every week and see if I can get to that 4 o'clock hour Eastern. It may be too early. I may have to bump it back into the middle of the night for some people. But if this doesn't work for you for the live feed, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to accommodate it. Of course, the podcast will always exist on demand when you want to watch it. And, of course, this video gets published on Facebook and YouTube on demand as well. So with that, thanks very much, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, for joining in. I appreciate it. It's hard to count everybody as you're coming and going, but oops, there we go. This has been a fun thing. I've got to get my keyboard shortcuts down a little bit better to make things flop around a little bit faster. But for the most part, I think this one went a little bit better than last week. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.